Government's irregular expenditure rises to a whopping 46 billion rand. The victim of an alleged racist attack describes his ordeal as suspects abandoned bail attempt. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching eNEWS Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandile Gangose. Good evening.
To have a say on any of our stories, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter. That's at eNEWS Direct.
You can also track our main stories using these hashtags: audit results and coffin assault.
The Auditor General's report shows 46 billion rand in irregular expenditure by national and local government departments. Kimi Makwetu released his 2015-2016 report in Parliament earlier today. He's concerned about the financial stability of state-owned enterprises. Makwetu says poor leadership and governance have affected their operations and audit outcomes. Makwetu's revealed a slight improvement in the audit results of national and provincial government departments over the past 3 years. In that time, 24% of departments improved their financial reporting, while 14% regressed. There was a significant improvement in the number of clean audits, with the most in the Western Cape. The Eastern Cape has shown the biggest improvement. The Free State and Mpumalanga have regressed. Well, Makwetu says there's a need for checks and balances to combat uncontrolled indiscretion.
When you look at all of these audit outcomes, there's a prevalence of conditions that indicate that if we do not address the issue of uncontrolled discretion in applying policy and there's lack of accountability, the chances are that the derailment of the programs that are meant to be achieved with these funds will continue to escape.
2 white men will spend Christmas behind bars for an alleged racist attack. They appeared in court today for assaulting a black man and forcing him into a coffin near Middelburg. The two abandoned their bail bid after hundreds protested outside. Please note, some of the visuals may upset some viewers.
Anger boiling over this. Willem Oosthuizen and Theo Jackson are to be charged with kidnapping and assault with the intention of committing grievous bodily harm. The two are accused of abducting Retebile Mlotshwa after he allegedly trespassed on a nearby farm where the pair were employed. They abandoned their bid for bail out of fear for their safety. Prosecutors also feared the pair would intimidate the victim and potential witnesses.
Gentlemen, your case now postponed to the 25th of January 2017 for further investigation. You will both be kept in custody.
Mlotshwa claims he was beaten and his hands bound with cable ties before being forced into a coffin. He says the pair had also threatened to douse him with petrol and burn him.
They caught me, they beat me up, really. They beat me up and then they tied me to the cable ties and then they took me to the nearest farm. And then that is the place where I see the coffin and then they started beating up and forcing me into the coffin.
Any comment? Sir, no comment.
As South Africa battles with racism 22 years after democracy, events like this severely undermine the struggle for an equal society free from prejudice. Nicolaas Bauer, Middelburg.
Okay, do you consider yourself a fairly tolerant person? For example, how do you treat people who struggle to speak a language that's not their mother tongue? And do you take the time to understand cultures and religions other than your own? Well, if you don't, it's the International Day for Tolerance today, and it may be a good time to start.
There's high racial intolerance at the moment, and I think there has to be a barrier that needs to be hit in order for something to change.
It's still very clear that there are some undercurrents in terms of tolerance that we can definitely work on.
The only thing I hate about here in Johannesburg is that we are fighting each other. Like, they'll be specifically on Venda, fighting on Venda and closer people, having funny remarks about, Changani people.
Into ngeke ngiyimeke ngalesi sikhathi mhlawumbe into enokugqilaza umuntu, into enokuhlukumezana umzimba womuntu angikwazi ukuyimela ngumuntu abusive onokulo ohlanganisa izinto engavumelani nazo angeke ngikwazi ukuzimela.
I can respect that people have views about gender inequality, racism that they need to express.
I think, you know what, if you can respect people and choose to see the best in them, that's the best we can do, and just try to tolerate people, but you never know where they've come from.
One of the country's most opulent Gulf estates is being accused of deceiving the Mpumalanga government. The multi-billion rand Leopard Creek boasts over 270 homes. However, the Nkomazi municipality says the estate has been getting away with paying just a fraction of its municipal bills. The property is co-owned by Johan Rupert, one of the country's richest men.
It's nestled in a massive game reserve and located on the banks of the Crocodile River. The brainchild of tycoon Johan Rupert, the estate is home to the world-class Gary Player Golf Course. The sprawling property boasts 271 houses owned by some of the country's wealthiest people. A home here would set you back upwards of 4 million rand. But for the past 20 years, Leopard Creek has allegedly been paying rates of just 35,000 rand per year. The Malelane Municipal Office says that puts the estate in arrears of over 64 million rand.
There has been a resistance from them to pay property rates to the municipality. They've been paying 35,000 rand a year at some point. At some point they've been paying about 120,000 rand. But this is not according to the valuation roll and according to what we have been billing them.
eNCA has seen documents showing the estate reached an agreement with town officials back in 1996, justifying the reduced payments. Last year, the municipality had an independent evaluator assess the property value.
According to the valuation roll, the property that we are talking about is worth about 1.4 billion rand, and they are supposed to pay the municipality about 800,000 rand a month.
But the estate disputed the valuation, prompting the Valuation Appeal Board to step in.
The outcome of that appeal spot was in favor of the municipality.
Officials believe the finances of this largely rural municipality would improve if the estate paid the monthly 800,000 rand in rates and taxes. Leopard Creek's management has questioned the evaluation process. It's approached the courts to set aside the board's ruling, while efforts to get comment from the estate management have been unsuccessful. Leranzo Temba, Mpumalanga.
Universities are not financially ready for next year. This came out during a briefing by Statistics South Africa in Parliament. Statistician General Badi Lehohla says it is clear that universities are not adequately funded, resulting in the fees must fall movement.
Statistician General Badi Lehohla didn't mince his words in Parliament today. Showing a multitude of facts and figures, Lehohla made it clear to the Higher Education Portfolio Committee that universities are not financially ready for next year.
The deficits that they have in the billions, 30 billion thereabout, and that is not changing overnight at all.
Referring to research conducted earlier this year, Lehohla highlighted the issue of education not being the government's top priority. He says until this changes, the challenges facing the country's education system will continue.
Education was ranked priority number 18. Our priorities were water, number 1, unemployment, number 2, electricity, number 3. Mobilization by politicians, even between the crisis of now #fees must fall and the one that preceded the local government election, didn't take into account the articulation of education as a social mobilizing force.
Government admits it needs to do more in this regard.
We will certainly have to improve, our mobilization strategy, perhaps even repackage our messaging so that our young people truly see value in education.
Some of the Stats SA findings were that the number of students enrolled in higher education grew by 32.8% from 2006 to 2015. Grants by national government increased by 144% between 2006 and 2015. The National Student Financial Aid Scheme will meet later this month to discuss a new funding model in line with next year's proposed 8% fee increase. Tim Tongana, Parliament.
Let's move beyond our borders now, and the International Federation for Human Rights says Burundi is on the brink of a genocide. It's urging African and European countries to intervene. The group says more than 1,000 people have been killed since President Pierre Nkurunziza took office last year. Meanwhile, the ICC says it will probe crimes in the country despite Burundi's withdrawal from the Rome Statute. Russia has become the latest country to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. President Vladimir Putin has instructed his foreign minister to inform the United Nations of its decision. The Kremlin government says the ICC has failed to operate as the independent and authoritative body it was meant to be. The decision comes amid calls from Moscow to be charged for war crimes over its airstrikes in Syria. Russia has denied breaking any international law or deliberately killing civilians. People will appear before the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court for trying to extort money from a service provider at the Tshwane University of Technology. The three include a student representative and two former students. The suspects allegedly demanded 100,000 rand from a security company in exchange the extension of the business contract. The suspects, aged between 25 and 30, were arrested after receiving some of the money during an undercover police operation. We end with this. A 52-year-old man has appeared in court in connection with a leaked matric paper in Limpopo. Dinyiko Khoza, who was facing theft, fraud and corruption charges, was arrested by the Hawks yesterday. After writing the mathematics paper on the 31st of October, a Guyana high school pupil came forward. He claimed to have had access to the paper before the actual exam. The paper was sent via WhatsApp and then circulated. Khoza will remain in custody until next Wednesday, when he will appear for bail. If you've missed any of the stories we're tracking for you, you can of course find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at eNEWS Direct, or you can head on over to our website. That's eNCA.com/direct. Your business news and weather after this. In money matters, the Spark Group has announced the closure of its distribution center in Zimbabwe, citing weak economic growth as the reason. The retailer will now supply independent stores in the country from South Africa. Meanwhile, the group also announced that it saw good growth this year. It says turnover came in at 90.7 billion rand, an increase of 23.8 compared to the year before. Spar says it will continue to focus on growing its Southern Africa business regardless of economic and political uncertainty. Let's see how the markets perform today. Here's the weather with Candice.
We saw some cloud move in over the southern part of the country on Wednesday, with cloudy weather and rainfall in the forecast over the southern and southeastern parts on Thursday. Cooler weather is expected mainly for the Eastern Cape, with some rain along the north coast of KwaZulu-Natal. Hot temperatures and isolated to scattered thundershowers are forecast over the northeastern and eastern interior, with a mostly clear day expected in the west. You'll see a cooler day for much of KwaZulu-Natal except over the northwestern parts. Thundershowers are forecast over the interior as well as all the way through to Durban at 25 degrees, but with some rain for Richards Bay at 27. It'll be a chilly Thursday throughout the Eastern Cape with most highs in the teens. You'll see cloudy weather and rainfall along the coast as well as some drizzle as we head further inland. 18 for Port Elizabeth. Cool, cloudy and wet over the southeastern part of the Western Cape with some drizzle through to Hermanus. A cooler day for Cape Town and a partly cloudy 23 degrees. Mostly sunny for the Northern Cape, 22 for Alexander Bay and Springbok, with with highs in the low 30s as we head towards Uppington, as well as between Verriesmith and Welkom. Warm over the eastern part of the Free State with isolated thundershowers, and you'll see those thundershowers over the eastern part of the northwest. Sunny and sizzling hot for Vryburg at 36, Mahikeng not far behind at 35 degrees. You'll see thundershowers over the southern and southwestern part of Limpopo, part of the dry forecast over the northeastern part of the province. Isolated thundershowers are forecast throughout Mpumalanga, 33 for Bombela with a warm day for the Highveld. A maximum of around 30 is forecast for Gauteng with isolated thundershowers, and Pretoria can expect a high of 32 degrees. On Friday, hot weather continues in the northeast with thundershowers in the forecast. You'll see that cloudy, wet and cooler weather spreading along the east coast, and by Saturday, cooler weather is forecast over the northeastern part of South Africa with thundershowers continuing, and you'll see sunny and warmer weather settling in from the west. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a great night.
Thank you, Candice. After the break, an early Christmas gift for schools in Diepsloot. Welcome back. Christmas has come a little early for schools in Diepsloot.
It has indeed. Residents from the neighbouring suburb of Steyn City have pooled their resources to put smiles on the children's faces.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. In Jesus' name, amen. Peace.
Delivering happiness to Diepsloot. That's the name of this initiative, and that's exactly what Steyn City residents are doing. They're handing out thousands of gift bags to schools throughout their neighboring township. But this is no ordinary bag.
Raincoat. Wow! Can you see that?
Organizers have been handing out Christmas gifts here for 5 years now, and they've reached about 40,000 children so far.
This initiative is to make a difference, and if we can get more and more sponsors to hold hands with us every year, hopefully we'll get to the day where we can give each and every child a bicycle, school shoes, a bag, something that can make a difference for the rest of the year.
And the youngsters wasted no time showing off their new things.
Thank you for contributing school bags to our school. It really makes a big difference.
The season of giving has certainly brought a lot of joy to these pupils, and they say they want to continue that spirit by giving a little love this festive season. Zikhona Chona, Diepsloot.
Too adorable. Here's a reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. Government's irregular expenditure rises to a whopping 46 billion rand.
I see the coffin and they started beating up and forcing me into the coffin.
The victim of an alleged racist attack describes his ordeal as suspect's abandoned bail attempt. And that's a wrap from the eNEWS Direct team.
Yep, we're back same time tomorrow. Up next, Room City.
We do love to hear from you. You can send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
Or, of course, you can just talk to us on Twitter and Facebook, and our handle is @eNewsDirect.
Until tomorrow night, have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.